The moving truck rumbled away, leaving Adam, Claire, and their son Max standing in the driveway of their new home. The house was exactly what they had hoped for. 2 stories, white trim, a neat porch, but something about it felt off. The air smelled too still, and the fences lining each property seemed unusually tall. Adam tried to shake it off. They had left the city for peace, a fresh start for Max. Claire smiled, though it didn't reach her eyes. Max clung to his stuffed dog, eyes wide, staring at the fences. "Looks nice, doesn't it?" Adam said, trying to sound cheerful. Max didn't answer. The first night, Adam sat on the porch with a beer, listening to the creaks of the house settling. He watched the fences, how they seemed to twist under the streetlights. A figure stood at the far end of the street, motionless, just a shadow. When Adam blinked, it was gone. The days passed. Adam tried to meet the neighbors, but no one seemed interested. The mailboxes looked battered, the lawns too neat, the kids too quiet. A man, thin, pale, always wearing a dark jacket, watched from the corner. Adam waved once. The man just stared, then turned and walked into the trees beyond the fence. At night, the whispers began. Faint at first, like wind through the cracks in the walls, then louder. Adam would wake at 3 a.m., heart pounding, feeling watched. Max started talking in his sleep, muttering words Adam couldn't understand. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Adam saw it clearly. A figure standing in the yard, just beyond the fence. It tilted its head, watching. Adam blinked and it vanished. Claire told him it was just his imagination. Max, though, said softly, "They're waiting, Daddy. They're waiting in the fences." Adam didn't sleep that night. The next day, Adam couldn't shake the sense of unease. The house felt heavier somehow, like the air inside had thickened overnight. Every corner seemed darker. Every floorboard creaked louder. The fences outside, they seemed closer to the house, though that couldn't be possible. Max had grown quiet. He no longer played with his toys or asked for bedtime stories. He just sat by the window, staring at the fence, his small fingers tracing patterns on the glass. Claire tried to brush it off. "It's a big move," she said. "He'll adjust." But Adam knew something wasn't right. That night, he woke to the sound of whispering, soft, urgent voices drifting through the walls. He crept downstairs, bat in hand, heart racing. The whispering grew louder as he approached the living room, then stopped the moment he flicked on the light. The house stood still, too still. The backyard lay in darkness, the fence barely visible. Then, Max spoke from the stairs, voice flat, eyes distant. "They're coming, Daddy." Adam's skin crawled. He rushed to the window. Outside, in the yard, shapes moved. Tall, thin shadows shifting along the fence, their heads tilting at impossible angles. They seemed to flicker in and out like bad reception on an old TV. Claire came down behind him, her breath catching as she saw them. "Adam, what are they?" she whispered. Before he could answer, a figure stepped forward. Pale face, hollow eyes, a smile that seemed too wide for its face. It stared straight at Adam. The whispering started again, closer this time, curling around his thoughts like smoke. Max whispered from behind, voice barely audible. "Daddy, they want you to come outside." Adam's pulse roared in his ears. The fence, the figures, the whispers, they weren't random. They were waiting for him. The next day, the sunlight felt wrong, too sharp, too still. Adam watched the shadows along the fence, how they seemed to lean toward the house, curling inward like smoke. Claire noticed too, though she didn't say it. She just kept pacing the kitchen, her smile too tight, her eyes flickering toward the windows, toward the fence. When Adam tried to bring it up, she snapped. "You're scaring Max. Can we please act normal?" But there was no normal left. Max barely spoke now. He sat by the window, unblinking, as if listening to something only he could hear. Adam watched him, heart sinking, knowing deep down they had already gotten inside. That night, the sounds returned, soft scratching, a faint creaking, like someone gently rocking on the porch. At 2:30 a.m., Adam heard the back door latch click open. His stomach turned to ice. He crept downstairs, bat in hand, breath tight in his chest. The back door hung open, swaying in the night breeze. Outside, the yard looked like it was holding its breath, silent, waiting. And then he saw them. Figures along the fence, their bodies thin and bent, faces pale and stretched, smiles too wide. They stood still, watching. One stepped forward, head tilting slowly, eyes hollow. "Adam," it rasped, voice like dead leaves on pavement. "Come, join us." Adam stumbled back, knocking over a lamp. Claire's scream cut through the darkness, sharp and raw. Max stood on the stairs, his voice low, flat like a recording on a loop. "They're waiting, Daddy. Don't make them wait too long." The walls seemed to groan. The air felt heavier, pressing against Adam's skin. The fence outside creaked, boards splitting, as if something was pushing through. Adam grabbed Max, holding him tight, but the boy felt cold, distant, like he wasn't really there anymore. The figures pressed closer, hands reaching through the gaps in the fence. Adam could almost hear their breathing, slow, steady, in sync with his own racing heart. He realized then this wasn't just a haunting, it was a hunger, and they were almost ready. Adam knew they couldn't stay. The whispers had become a constant hum, filling every room, every thought. The figures at the fence moved closer each night, their faces stretched into pale, hollow smiles. Claire barely spoke now. She stood at the window, lips moving silently, breath fogging the glass. Max sat still, his eyes distant, as if already somewhere else. Adam packed a bag, hands shaking. "Claire, we have to go, now!" She didn't answer, just kept staring at the fence. Max whispered, "They're almost here, Daddy." Adam grabbed Max and bolted for the door. The moment they crossed the threshold, the air snapped cold, sharp as ice, heavy with a pressure that made Adam's teeth ache. Shadows reached for him, fingers brushing his arms, but he pushed forward, running across the yard. Max clutched tight. When he finally turned, the house seemed smaller, darker. The fence loomed higher, warped and twisting, and the figures stood there, watching. Claire was among them. Her head tilted slowly, that hollow smile stretched wide. Adam heard it, clear inside his skull, her whisper, "Stay, stay, stay." Adam sank to his knees, holding Max. The boy clung to him, but Adam felt the cold in Max's skin, the slow, shallow breaths. The fence groaned, wood splintering, and Adam understood. This wasn't just a fence, it was a barrier, a thin wall barely holding something back, something old, hungry, and patient. Brook Hollow Lane wasn't just a street, it was a trap, a feeding ground, and now it had Claire. Adam clutched Max, shaking, staring at the figures. He knew they'd always be there, waiting, watching, whispering. He couldn't save them all, but he could save his son. He had to. Adam stood, holding Max tight, and walked away from Brook Hollow Lane, never looking back. Because once you look back, it notices. And once it has noticed, it never lets you go. The shadows stayed behind, waiting, just beyond the edges of the light.
If you enjoyed this story, there's more waiting in the shadows. Subscribe for more haunting tales and hit that like button if the chills got you. Leave a comment if you dare and tell us what's lurking in the dark where you live. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and keep watching the shadows.